Guys, we're back today with the mystery quilt, and we're continuing our construction into an actual quilt. Last week I showed you how to put the sashing on the rows, and I've gone ahead and done a little video of me actually putting all the columns together, and I do have that completed. But what I decided to do was actually make it into a king size quilt. And rather than go back to the drawing board and do a bunch more of the 6-inch blocks, I'm going to be adding panels on the bottom and on the sides to extend the length of the quilt for a king size quilt. So what I've got over here, and Stacy, can we switch the camera? Are the 3 border patterns that I selected for my panels. I do have the quilt on the sewing machine right now, and I'll show you the first panel that we're putting on. The second panel is this one, and that was using what is it called? The continuous figure 8, 2.5 inch, and I did this one back to back. The one that is being attached right now is the continuous border loop 3. And then the final panel for the bottom at this point is going to be this one, which is the continuous border loop, and that's a 5-inch loop. So that's what we're going to be talking about today in terms of the next steps. I'm putting them on the bottom of the quilt today, but I will have to be doing also the side panels too. So let's go ahead and go back over to the sewing machine. And Stacy, you might have your big laptop look at how the setup is here. Because of the weight of the quilt, I have my short little craft table right here, and I've got my quilt rolled up and beside me. So I do have my Sashly tool on the sewing machine right now, right here. And we're just going to inch along and get this added to the bottom of the quilt. And I did test it, but I didn't test it on this side that had the multiple layers. So we may have to go over to the other sewing machine after I'm done with this one, but we'll go this far for right now. Okay, and you can tell as the weight gets too heavy, the sewing machine becomes less cooperative. So we'll just be doing some adjusting as we go here.
I'm trying to avoid the glare, but it seems like it's a little extra today.
So I did the same thing that I did with the rows. I glued on the sashing first. I did make this sashing 1 3/4 inch, which is the size of the sashing that I used to put the columns together. So it's not a new size, but it is for the borders. Okay, let's just get that up there.
Let's see if we turn off the lights, if that helps the glare at all.
How's that? Is that better or worse?
I can't tell. Maybe a little worse.
Yeah, because we've got the light on the sewing machine.
Mm-hmm. So this is what it's like working a really big quilt, because this is going to be a king size, right?
Mm-hmm.
On your domestic machine.
And it would be much better if this table was at the same level as my table on my machine.
Oh,
but
got
it doesn't go up that high. So
I can pull the table off of the other one if you want.
what do you mean?
Just pull this off and use it as an extension.
Oh yeah, let's try that.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably help a lot, actually.
It's a little bit
At least it's higher.
higher.
That'll make it the transition a little better. Okay, so let's keep
So
going
I'll show
here.
what we just did here when we have a sec.
Okay.
So when you have an extra Sew Steady extension table and you're wondering, what can I do with the old one? Yeah, I don't know if we can turn down the light at all on the machine, but definitely the glare is extra today.
Why don't we shut those drapes?
You think it'll help?
Yeah, and turn off this light behind me.
Okay.
Is that better?
Maybe a little.
All right, there we go. That made a big difference in getting that up to that height.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that was.
So what we did
Very
here is we just took an extension table that we had on another machine and we just added it. So she had this extra extension table right here. You can kind of see how it's helping her hold it up so it's not falling down.
You got to keep the weight up and level with your surface in order for the machine to go freely. And you'll know when it's not going freely. Okay.
And again, she's just straight stitching with the sash lead to do the kind of a stitch in a ditch, if you will. Connecting the sashing to the panel she added to make this into a king size quilt. And so when it was all said and done, how large of a panel did you need to add?
I'm adding 3 6-inch panels.
Okay.
And I'm adding that to the end and also to the 2 sides.
And you ended up having more than 113 blocks.
I did.
How many did you end up having?
I want to say, you know, I had it written down somewhere, Stacey. I don't remember off the top of my head.
She had a sticky note. It's right here, guys. I don't know how she did it, but she ended up having 140.
Because I made a lot of extra ones along the way. Sometimes I duplicated it because I didn't like the first try. Sometimes it was because the cuttings, you know, how she would have you sew fabrics together and then cut through the different layers for a different look. Well, the ones that I didn't use were as cool as the ones that I used.
Oh.
So I just used some of those in different blocks that weren't actually in the quilt. I made them up. Made up my own quilt blocks.
And you know, I just want to observe what we're looking at right now is the backside of the quilt. And look how cool that is. Just the quilting itself alone without the patchwork blocks, I think it's incredible. I'm just going to show real quick here. So this is going to be the backside and just all of the different template designs being used.
Now, what I am going to do now is different than what I might normally do with this much bulk. But because it is so bulky, I'm just going to turn this around and now pull it in my direction.
Oh, okay. So again, you're doing this with Sashley. So you're not doing this with the feed dogs up. This is still doing.
And we'll see how this works because this means that I'm going to have to be pulling this rather than, pulling it towards me rather than pushing it. So let's see if I can do this. I don't know.
All right.
If that's going to work. Actually, I think I won't. I think
it's too much.
I think it's too much weight. So I'm just going to pull this back down this way. Let me this rolling here. Okay. And I'm going to be putting the tool over here now. Get this over here. Get it on the opposite side. I'm going to put it down, put the needle down. And now let's see if I can get this.
So she's using the 6-inch sash lay on this one.
The 3-inch for long runs is you're just constantly stopping, in my opinion. For shorter runs, it's great, but for longer runs, where you actually have control of your fabric, which might not be right now. Here we go. Okay, I want it to be more like that. Okay.
They call that the sash lay large.
All right. Kind of pull together here.
So you're kind of going the same direction that you went last time.
I am. I'm just on the opposite side of the sashing. Okay, I gotta get this up off the edge of that table. There we go.
So yeah, someone asked, so the sashing has already been attached to the blocks, and yeah, so we did the episode last week where we attached the sashing to the row. So we showed you how to attach each block to each other to make 11. How much were you at? 11
rows
of 14 blocks each. And so then I have a separate video that I'm going to be sharing where she actually then attached the columns to each other.
Which is exactly what I'm really doing here. It's just going the opposite direction. It's not different at all. Let's see here. Get my fabric.
So yeah, basically you're just doing this instead of it being patchwork, 14 blocks that are already sewn together. You're doing one big
Correct.
And again, a lot of the struggle at this point is really just fighting the bulk.
It is. That's truly the only thing that's difficult about what I'm doing is getting the fabric to behave.
I'm wondering if I come up and over a little bit more. So the glare too.
Almost done, guys. Almost at the end.
That looks pretty good, actually. I opened up the light behind you.
Oh, good.
So maybe a little less focus on that one. And really with the line up here, all you're doing is making it so the edge of the channel
is there.
Is at the
and
edge.
This is at the edge of my sashing on the other
Oh,
side.
okay, great. And the thickness of this sashing you said was 1.5 inches.
1 3/4.
1 3/4.
Versus the 1 1/4 that I use to put all the 6-inch pieces together. of the sashing on the columns and of the border is larger. Okay, so we did it. We only have to do that 2 more times on the bottom. Now we've got our border attached, the first of 2 more, or yeah, the first of 3 attached here now.
Okay, so show us the process because you kind of already had it attached.
Do you want
one
me
side.
to quilt, or do you want me to attach the border?
I probably want to see you quilt, right? Give us a thumbs up or a heart if you want to see some quilting going on, or if you want to see more attaching. All right, we're gonna give it a delay because we've got to wait for them to respond here. All right. So yeah, let's go ahead and do a little bit of quilting. Let's show some border work.
Okay.
And then if there's time, we'll take you guys into the next steps of attaching or one of the panels on the bottom.
All right. So let me go ahead and come over there. And I'll just show you real quick. This is cut off strips of what, the borders are. So let's go ahead and,
If you could take it a little bit more to the right.
sorry.
There you go.
There we go. Okay. And so the border that we just attached, let me do that one. And let me get my ruler. So I cut these at 6.5 inches. So 3 1/4 inch is exactly halfway. So what I'm going to do is take my piece that I cut here. I'm going to get my ruler right there. And I'm going to mark my chalk line for the center. You can see that. There we go. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and take the one that we used, which is this one, and we're going to go ahead and do that design. All right, I'll just move this over a little bit. So there's a center reference line right there, and I'm going to put that on the reference line that I just drew on the fabric. And I'm going to start at the left, end at the right, and scoot it over. So let's go ahead and put that down. Put this up here.
This one's continuous.
This is continuous border loop 3. Now I just scooted over at the top. Make sure my reference lines are right on the one that I did on the fabric. It's a 2x5.
Oh, a 2x5. I'll post a link to it. There's a lot of options.
There are a lot of options. And I drew out about 6 different options before I selected the 3 that I thought played the best together. one more. Actually, I'm just going to do half of it.
And it's so easy. It is. Super easy.
All right, so let's go ahead and cut that. And there's your border.
Beautiful.
You really can't see it on the back because I have dark brown, but on here you can kind of see it.
Absolutely. You can see it great.
All right.
That's one of the border designs. Are you doing any others on those?
I have the 2 other designs.
Okay.
Do we want to do that, or
What would be the next step for you?
the next step is gluing the next border?
Yeah, let's see the 2 other designs then.
Okay. So the next one, I'm going to do exactly the same thing that I did on the other one. Only I think I'm going to sew it on this side. Stacy will love that because I don't think you're going to be able to see the stitching because of the colored thread that I have.
Yes, I always love it when you put it on a solid.
I know.
This is going to be a treat, guys. So the border sampler set does come with a continuous border. It looks very similar to that. I'm just not sure it's the same size. Let's double check.
All right, so we're going to take this one. And what I'm doing on this one,
it is the one that comes in the border sampler, guys. That is. So I'm going to post a link to the border sampler. All right, so you're ready to do that next one, huh?
yeah. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with the little end, and we're going to actually double back because that design is a back-to-back design. All right, so let's take it right there. We're going to put our foot down. And we'll go down. Okay, and I'm not pulling up my bobbin threads because we're just playing around.
I feel like this is serious. You're just playing?
Oh, you know what? I'm starting on the wrong side. Note this out. Don't do that. Start over here. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we're going to bring this over, and I'm going to work so this way so I can actually see my lines here.
So, we should probably share that you're actually using a template set that's only available, or a template right now that's only available through Inspira, which is Singer Viking Thought.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. I mean, this is a template that Leonie West designed for them. And so, we definitely want to encourage you to take a look at that Inspira set. But this is, a really, really neat design. I love kind of the flair that it has. So if you have that set, again, it's part of the Inspira line, then this is going to be one that you're going to want to definitely enjoy and watch this demonstration a little bit.
I just have all of these, and when I'm hunting for something, I don't really pay attention to what I'm using.
Because I feel like you kind of complete the design as you go.
You do.
This is another mesmerizing one.
Okay, so now I'm going to stop and I'm going to take this and now I'm going to go back down here, right where I stopped there, and just go this way now. And my quilt is getting in my way here, so let's see if I can get that a little bit more. There we go. And so you're just making sure that your reference lines continue to be on the reference line on the fabric. Okay, so you can see the pattern right there.
All right, everybody's loving it.
And that's just that back-to-back, design that this does.
Mm-hmm. So the ruler that you're using right now is called what again?
This is called the Inspira Continuous Figure 8, and it's 2.5 inch, so it's 5 inches when I do it back-to-back.
So again, that's part of it's a set of templates that Leonie West designed for Singer Viking Foth and the Inspira collection.
Well, there is a continuous figure 8. It's not just this size, I think.
Oh, is there?
I believe so.
I think it's a kind of a unique design, but we'll keep looking and see if we have anything that we have outside of the Inspira collection, which you can purchase from any of your Viking or Foth dealers. All right, so you've headed over to the...
So now, if you want me to do the last design, that would be the continuous border loop 5-inch.
Okay, let's see it.
All right, so let me get that one out of the way, and we'll go to this material here.
And just to clarify, this is all individual templates that are not part of the same template set. So we showed a template that's part of the border sampler as the first template that we used, and the one that you just saw is called the continuous figure 8, and that's part of a kind of a template set that we created for Inspira, and so you can purchase it through any of your Singer or your Fuff and Viking dealers. But I'm trying to see if we have a like design in our range.
I was pretty sure we did. All right, so I'm doing exactly what I did before. I'm just marking the center of this block, and I'm going to be using that as my reference point for the next design as well.
You know what does something fairly similar is actually our continuous hearts border.
Okay, so here we go.
All right, show us what we got.
Oops. I'm so cozied up to this table now. All right, so I've got these two reference lines right in the center of this design. I'm going to get them right on my reference lines. I'm going to start on the left side and move to the right side and then just scooch it over. Set back up on the reference lines. Shoulder straight. This one you could put more reference lines in, like down in here and up in here, but I just chose to do the one.
And the border design name on this one is?
This is continuous border, I see it, continuous border loop 5-inch. Okay, just one more, we'll finish it off. And there we go. And there's your continuous loop border.
I love it. All right, so what's the next steps here?
So next step is to attach the next border.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and get my pressing area back into.
I asked her about her very fancy pressing mat today. And she explained that she had to go big because this is now the size of a king size length. So she had to lay out a towel as her pressing mat.
All right, so let's get that over there. Get this back over here. Stace, maybe you could throw that in the drawer so I don't lose it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's get this right here. And my glue. Where's my glue?
Behind you? There's a bottle right there.
That's not the one I was using.
It's not underneath you.
Oh, it's over there by your purse.
There you go.
All right, thank you. So let's go ahead and get this squared up a little better. Okay, and make room for the border. Okay, so next we're going to attach the orange border. So we're going to take this and we're going to line it, butt it up against this one right here.
Oh, so you're doing 2 6-inch panels on the ends of each.
3.
Oh. That will connect to make a final king size. And are you doing it on all 4 sides or just 2 sides?
Doing it on 3 of the 4 sides.
Oh, neat.
So the very top, I'd probably just do 1 panel.
Okay.
Okay, now we're ready to start gluing.
So do you need one of these to do that?
Yes, I will. Let's get the orange.
Okay.
I don't know if they can see anything these days.
Not quite yet. You're in view now. You can see that she's adding her glue dots, everyone. So that means all in all, if you're doing 3 panels on all 3 sides, you're adding 9 different panels, correct?
Correct.
To make yours a king size.
Correct.
So 3 on 3 sides. Well, you might end up doing 10. Well, I'm excited to see this on your bed.
Yeah, Jerry said, you know what? We don't need any more in the closet.
Oh, so he's making you sleep with it, huh?
Yeah. A little nervous about the dog scratching it.
So are you finding that you're wanting to keep glue a little bit closer?
Well, on this one, because it's such a long length, and I don't have anything else really holding it together, I do want to have a lot of glue there.
And that was the color you're looking for, right?
Yeah, it was. They probably can't see anything now, right?
You are off camera.
All right. Now let's go ahead and take this, and because I'm right-handed.
So there was a question if your job would have been a little easier to connect all the borders first.
It would have, actually, but I say that, yes and no. But yeah, I think it would have been.
So she already prepared this with overall width of this sashing was what again, Mom?
1 and yeah.
Before you folded it in.
1 3/4.
So 1 3/4. So then you basically.
I could have sewn them together without the sashing, but I wanted the sash look.
Yeah.
And it certainly would have been easier to do it that way. But I haven't always been known to do the easy thing.
Well, and sometimes you kind of fall into it, right?
My iron got cooled down, so give me a minute here. Oops. Now I'm leaking. My thing is leaking. Okay. Don't love what I've done here, so hold on. This is how easy it is to reposition, folks. If you see it early on, you can just bring it up, and I actually want to cover up that straight stitching at the base of this.
And are you using steam for this or no steam?
I am using steam.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Oh, and it will re-stick then. You don't have to
It
add more
will.
glue.
Yeah. Because the glue's there, it's just warm, so you can reposition it
If you catch it early enough.
if you catch it early enough, yeah. And if you don't catch it early enough, you just rip it off and do it over. It doesn't harm anything. Okay, so now I just have water everywhere. That knocked over too. Okay. Let's come back to this, making sure we're pressed up against here. I did cut these before we got online so that I got them all trimmed up to the size that I wanted. Kneaded up, if you will. You should probably talk. They probably can't see anything, Stacy.
You are definitely on the edges.
Okay.
So you're just adding glue now.
I'm
as you
just doing the next section.
go. Okay.
So this is super long.
I did find the Inspire template set on the Gotham Biking page. Oh, I guess we're going long ways now. Here she is. You can do that without flipping the camera. Sometimes our phones are too smart.
Okay. So you can see that I covered up the straight stitch line at the base.
So she said no, she is using steam. Yes, on the steam.
Yes, on the seam.
You are using steam in your iron.
Oh, yes. Not seam, steam. Okay. Now, getting this to move. Oh, it's not always easy.
Can I help you?
I have very limited space here. I've got too many lights and cameras and stuff. Okay. Let's do that one more time there. Let's see if I can just scooch this. I just have about 1.5 feet that I need to.
So yeah, she glues it together and then she sews it on.
Okay.
So the glue is just kind of to hold it in place until she sews them together. This is a job. So what do they say? This is like wrestling a bear?
Yeah.
Or a crocodile?
It's definitely, it's much nicer if you've got a lot of room. Let's put it that way. I've got way too many cameras and lights in here to make this easy.
You know, we thought about using, you know, some of the other amazing tools that are out there, like a frame or the weightless quilter. But what we're doing here,
It's
because
straight
she's
stitching.
already done Quilt As You Go, this is really more of a straight stitching, kind of muscling through. So that's the Roxanne glue, correct?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so just this last little bit on this side.
And then you're going to flip it over and do it on the other side too.
Correct. That ought to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what else I can knock over. I scared the dogs. They all left the sewing machine, or the sewing room. Okay. So now I'm putting this down for the rest of this little bit here. Trying to get it to make sure it covers up that stitch line. All right. So now we have to let this cool for a minute before I'm willing to turn it over because I don't want to lose my glue that I just did. So, do you want to do any of that video?
Let's see here. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that. See if there's any way to. Because I think you texted me the video, so probably can't.
It's on my phone.
Mm-hmm. Don't know. I think you would have to email it to me to be able to show it on the screen.
Okay.
So where are you headed right now?
I'm just letting it cool.
Okay.
Picking up everything that I threw around.
And you dropped along the way?
Yeah.
All right. So this is a break time, everyone. So again, what was the name of that glue? Maybe we can show it to them on the screen.
Roxanne.
Right here. This is the glue. And I'll try pulling your phone out and see if we can figure out how to show a video that's on your phone.
Okay. I'm going to try to get this positioned so that we can do the next step here without having to completely reposition this quilt. So, there we go. All right, there we go.
Let me change the audio real quick. Let's see.
And disclaimer, this was me doing my own filming. Stacy hasn't apparently even seen it. Okay, so I'm back to gluing now on the back side. And I just flipped the quilt over enough for me to get the sashing on the edge of this. Can you get me that brown sashing, Stacy?
Mm-hmm. There you go. Oh yeah, the designs really pop on that black.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, I got it, guys.
We'll go ahead and show that because they've already seen this, and this is going to have to cool down before I'm willing to move it.
Okay, it'll be a second still. I'm getting it downloaded, I think, right now.
When putting the sashing on, I do like to work left to right. I will tell you because it's easier for me to see if I've got the sashing centered for some reason. Don't know why. I'm not as concerned on this side about covering up that stitch line. In fact, I'm purposely going to let it show because I want to make sure that we've got a real good seam with the sashing on both sides. Okay. Let it cool for just a minute here before I move it to get to the rest of the quilt. Let's see if I can just bring it over. All right, there we go.
Uh-oh. What happened? Definitely thinks that these headphones don't like it, or it doesn't like the headphones. Any better? Alrighty. I'm trying to figure out how to make this video play for everybody. This video is going to be accessible as long as you like on our Facebook page. We don't have videos we play live on Facebook are accessible for, generally speaking, ever.
Okay. So now let's do final pressing here. Okay, so once again, I'm going to let it cool down just a little bit before we try to move it to the sewing machine. Alrighty, let's see what we can do here. No camera on the sewing machine.
Oh, there it is. I was just getting those here. All right. Here she is. Back to this.
Okay. Now this is faster. I moved this quilt faster than I'm really comfortable with in real life. So this must not be real life, huh?
This is pretty real.
I usually like to let it sit about 20 minutes, just out of caution. Because once again, it's not a big deal if you've just got 6-inch blocks that you're putting together. But when you've got a big long thing that you're trying to stabilize, it's a little different. Okay, so let's go ahead. No, I do want to check my bobbin thread before we get started on this. And just see how much do I have here. Yeah, we're going to change that out before we get started.
Okay, I'm going to try to share my entire screen, which will be a video. Hopefully, that's my goal. Let's see how this goes. So right now, oh no, it won't let you see my screen apparently on this. So, I've got one other option. Bear with me here.
Okay. All right, so now we're just about ready to sing song, second verse here. That's what we started out with.
So we have the quilt supported using 2 sew steady tables right now. And I might show that again on the screen. This is going to be a good view, I think, for it. You can see that. Here and here. So this is the extension table that she's kind of holding up the project with around the free arm of the machine. And then we just took the extension table off of the other sewing machine and added it here to help support. Because the goal is to keep it at the same level as the free arm and the tabletop area. And with this being such a big project, it's just kind of adding like an extension to your extension table. So I was saying earlier, if you have an extra sew steady extension table, maybe for an old machine, this is a great use for it. Just use it to help support the bigger projects.
And it does make a lot of difference with that being at that same level.
So we're using a free motion glider on this machine. Actually, the free motion glider is kind of for the purpose of being able to do ruler work and free motion quilting. But the free motion is a Teflon pad. So I'm going to post a link to that on our website as well. So it's a 12 by 18 Teflon pad. So it's a little bit more durable. You're going to find the price to be a little bit higher than like our ruler work glider, which is that green slick sewing mat. But it does have, kind of the same exact features, round hole, and then again, being Teflon, it's just a little bit more durable.
I thought our grid glider had the square holes.
The ruler work glider is what I was talking about.
Oh,
We got so many gliders, guys. Yeah, so we're using the sashly right now to go ahead and create the sashing. We will eventually get to the binding part of this, where we're going to be kind of binding the top to the bottom. And in that scenario, there is another really cool tool that Westerly Design created a long time ago. That we're really going to show you guys.
hey Stace, could you come over here and pull, get this straightened out?
Yes.
You. And could you move that towel so it can glide? Thank you.
And so now you're going to really be able to appreciate this setup. We just are continuing to wrestle this bear. So she started with, of course, at the very top that you see right over there. Just adding a little bit this way.
What was that?
Your cute little dog is kind of having a moment.
But is she not?
She was getting a little feisty.
Okay, I'm running into something down there. Can you?
Oh.
And can you straighten that back up so it's no the yeah the this.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to pull it all back towards me, and we're going to do this a second time on the other side.
And you know, I think that with this being kind of more of the same, since we kind of started with this today, I feel like we've kind of given them a really good rundown of what you're doing here, how you're doing it with attaching the sashing. So I think that, you know, we'll probably call it a day here with just kind of, you know, knowing the process, because you really did take him through the whole process now.
I have, yes.
You know, you took, and so this would be kind of redundant
It would.
for what we're showing you at this point. So obviously you can rewatch this video as many times as you'd like. Going back to the Facebook, I'm going to work on trying to find the video of Mendy putting together the columns, and we'll be posting that here shortly as well. We talked about that. Susan said, I wonder if the weightless quilter could be used for this.
No, I tried.
She gave it a try. She really did do a college try on that one too. She had to make a big effort to get it over here.
Yeah.
And then it just didn't work
because the weightless quilter is designed for you to work in a specific area, creating your quilting designs. This is straightforward sewing. So this is sewing in a straight line, not trying to take sections that you're going to be quilting. So
just the benefit of putting it together was almost too much effort.
Well, we put it together. We actually
hooking it up, and it was it just kind of impossible to go straight the way you needed to?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't as efficient.
We would have been having to reclip the quilt like probably 4 to 5 times.
Oh, every line up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not efficient.
No.
There is value in the weightless quilter, but on this project, you're definitely looking at the value being a little bit different. The value of, kind of quilting a finished quilt top all at once. And the sashing method that we're doing here with this project. We are still going to put together the other ones. I promised everyone I would, so that's coming. And in that scenario,
what year is that?
Well, it's 21.
No, what year are you going to quilt it?
21.
21. Okay.
It's happening.
All right.
So I think we're going to go ahead and have everybody call it quits for the day here. I know Donnell's got another treat in store for you tomorrow with the Facebook Live tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Stay tuned. We've got some awesome group events that we're going to be announcing in February that you can all take part in. And so we've got lots and lots more fun stuff coming your way. More on this project. So I look forward to sharing the binding process with everyone, and look for that video post as we share how she put together the columns for those blocks as well. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful